Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description and every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description and in every episode description. I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say I'm watching so-and-so show, and then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it, and that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic, one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. One mic. One mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about Season 1, Episode 1 of FX's Kindred, entitled Dana. This episode titled Dana is named after the lead character on the show, Dana, who is played by, let's see, her name's Mallory Johnson. I'm sorry, I need to look at my notes because a lot of people in this show are people that I am just unfamiliar with. And when I looked them up on IMDb doing my general research that I do before I released my first video on an episode of a show, I didn't recognize a lot of these people. They didn't have a lot of stuff on IMDb, but I'm going to go over that, kind of like housekeeping stuff to start, and then we'll talk about the episode. So, for starters, if you're here, you probably already know that this show is based on Octavia Butler's book of the same name. I have not read the book. I wanted to put that out there right away because after I watched the episode, I do a little bit of research. You know, like I said, on who's in it, who's the showrunner, all this good stuff, right? And I skimmed through a couple of reviews of the show after I watched the episode, and every single one, no lie, was comparing it to the book, which I understand that, but I want to judge a show on its own merits, not how it compares to the source material. I'm not telling you guys how good of an adaptation this is. I'm telling you guys if it's a watchable TV show or not. And that is completely separated from how closely it mirrors the book. So, you know, I truly, and I promise you guys, I do not give a fuck about how it compares to the book. I haven't read it, and I'm not here to talk about, I'm not here to judge adaptations. So this will be the last time you hear me discuss the book. But, like I said, book by Octavia Butler. Showrunner and writer is a guy named Brandon Jacobs Jennings. I couldn't find a lot of stuff on him on IMDb. I believe he consulted on Watchmen, but I did find I think it was probably like a New York Times or Variety article that mentions that he's a two-time Pulitzer Prize finalist for dramas as well as a MacArthur Fellow. I don't even know what a MacArthur Fellow is. I believe it's some sort of like MacArthur is like a scholarship maybe or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's got to be an award. I don't know. I'm certain someone will tell me in the comments. But moving on to some of the characters in the show, Micah Stock plays Kevin. I know nothing of this guy. I have not seen anything that he's in, but he doesn't have a very robust IMDb. I think it was like 4 things there, including this. Like I mentioned, Mallory Johnson, who plays Dana, who is the lead character. She doesn't have a lot on her IMDb as well. She has seemed like she appeared in 4 episodes of We Crashed, which was the show. What was We Crashed on? Was it on Showtime? Or I can't remember what We Crashed was on, but I think that was the rip from their headline show about Uber. Or was that We Worked? Or is it about We Worked? Yeah, I think it's about We Worked. But I didn't see it, so that's why I don't know what the fuck it was about. And then the last one I mentioned is Ryan Quanten. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he plays Thomas Whalen in this show. And I've seen Ryan in a bunch of stuff, but I think we all know Ryan best from True Blood. So let's get to talking about this episode. Let's see, where do I want to start? Oh, actually, I hate that I said let's start talking about this episode, and now I'm about to follow that up with one more thing before I start talking about the episode. I'm structuring this specific video with a question section in which I'm going to raise the questions that I have after watching this episode, and then I'm going to close it as I usually do. If you've been around for a while, you know I usually close with like random thoughts and observations. Now, I don't know if that's how I'm going to structure future videos, and I can't even say that there will be future videos because that is going to depend 100% entirely on you guys. If this video gets enough plays to where I feel like, fuck it, if I can get that amount of plays on 8 videos, then I'll do 8 videos. But if I put this up and it doesn't play very well, sorry. So if you want me to keep covering this show, share this video to your social media, whatever it is that you have, whoever it is you might want to share it with, make sure you do that. I'm going to need plays just so I can make sure that it's worth the investment, especially since I don't have a week in between shows. Like, everyone who's going to watch this is probably going to watch it this week. So I need to get these episodes out. So that's how this video is going to be structured. That's how, not necessarily how future videos are going to be structured, but we don't even know if they're going to be future videos. So, good. Now that's all out of the way. Let's talk about what this show is seemingly about, since there is surely a lot of mystery to unravel. So at the start of this episode, the main character, Dana, she wakes up on the floor of her crib with like really bad injuries, back stuff, like honestly it looked like she'd been whipped maybe. Her phone is dead, which as the episode progresses, we'll see that this is something that she makes a habit out of. And her internet doesn't work, which is also something we will see is a trend in Dana's life as the episode continues. The police arrive at her door to check on her because her neighbors called them. And let me just say right now, fuck them old nosy ass neighbors. You can already tell they're going to be on some extra intrusive, nosy, Karen ass, racist ass shit. And I already know I'm not going to like these neighbors. But she tells the police through the door that she's fine and for them to leave. And we see her writing an email to someone named Denise, who we will later learn is her aunt. And it says something like, "I'm back at the house, please hurry." We don't know what that means, whatever. We then flash back 2 days, and the rest of the episode seems to play out from that point. I'm not going to spend too much time going over what happens in the episode. I'm gonna mention a couple other things, but then I'm going to really but I'm going to go through these questions because this show raises a lot of questions. It's clearly, I don't want to say it's a mystery box kind of show, but there's clearly a whole lot of mystery to unravel. So like I said, we flash back 2 days earlier, and Dana meets with her aunt and uncle after moving to LA. And they're immediately suspicious of how wise this plan was, or this lack thereof of a plan. But after a tense dinner, her persistently uncharged phone is dead. So the waiter, who is Kevin, who I mentioned when I talked about who is in the cast, he offers to give her a ride home where she could charge her phone on the ride, rather than the much less creepy offer of just getting his charger out of the car. And she accepts the ride home, and immediately begin to understand why her aunt and uncle called her judgment into question with this move to LA, because this is clearly someone who does not make the best decisions. But we spend the rest of the episode essentially learning the show's conceit. It appears that Dana can travel back in time to 1815 and has experiences that are seemingly tied to her family, which, I mean, peep, the name of the show is called Kindred, of course, and these white slave owners who are at this plantation. She also, at least at the end of the first episode, seems to only go back in time when the son of this family needs help. Like, the first time she goes back, he's like an infant in his crib, face down, about to suffocate. The second time she goes back, he's drowning. The third time she goes back, he's in the middle of a house fire. And at this point, I just want to say that you cannot go to this well very often. I would even argue that you can't go to this well anymore, period. Because I'm already sitting here like, fuck, how often is this kid gonna get into mortal danger? Like, it's 3 times in the first episode. Now, granted, this spans from like infant to, I think in the fire, he looked like he was probably like 10. So this spans like 10 years of this kid's life. But for me, it spanned about 50 minutes. I had 3 instances of this kid almost dying. And I feel like they really need to either clarify what it is that pulls her back into 1815, speaking of which present day is 2016 for her, or find a different reason, or show us that it's not just this boy. Maybe she's tied to any form of potential trauma for anyone in this plantation family and any of the slaves that might live on this plantation. Speaking of which, we haven't met any. Well, no, we meet one slave, I think, in this episode. And then we also meet seemingly her mother, who is dead from a car accident in 2016, but is apparently alive and stuck in 1815. And we still don't know. This is one of the questions. Is the mom alive or not? I don't know. But yeah, they got to figure out something with this. She only goes back when the kid in the family is in mortal danger. I'm like, okay, that's going to get old. It got old in this episode, so it's going to get old real fast. So, let's see. Where do I want to move now? I'm going to move on to the questions. So I'm just going to pose some questions based on what I saw in the episode that are rhetorical. You know, I don't have answers for them. I don't expect you guys to have answers for them. We can both hypothesize, but just questions that I think we're meant to have after this first episode. I obviously gave the first one, is her mom dead or alive? She told Kevin her parents died in a car crash, but when she actually talks to her mom in 1815, she makes it sound like she came to 1815 11 to 12 years ago and has just been stuck there. So we don't know if the mother is the same mother, and she looks of that time. Like, she doesn't look like a modern woman that's been stuck in 1815, but if she's been there 11 years, she probably would have adapted. But yeah, I don't know. Is the mom dead or alive? Is this a different person? Is it the same person? Don't know. So where does the car accident come from? One, did the accident even happen? Two, if it did she like teleport out of it back to 815? If so, well, regardless, we need to know this. Like, were both bodies discovered in this car accident? Like, did they bury like her mother and her father to the point where this is really strange? Or is there like, yeah, it was a car accident, but it crashed into the water and they never found the bodies, and we assumed it was and we assumed that they were just never gonna find them? Don't know, but we'll find out. Oh, well, maybe we'll find out. We don't know that for sure. Is the father actually dead, or is he alive somewhere else too in another year? I don't know. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, actually. Something about what I just said. Is he alive in another time, and we don't know? If they're both actually dead, then what is she experiencing when she teleports and rendezvous with her mother? Like who is this? If both of her parents are actually dead, and then also what caused her to teleport? Like, I don't think. I mean, it seems tied to this boy right now, but like I said, I feel like you can't go to that well anymore. But if you go to it maybe once or twice more in the next episode, then that's it. I don't think it's solely tied to that. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. I feel like it can't be tied to that, but I feel like it's more likely it could be tied to potential trauma or mortal danger for anyone in this boy's family, or maybe anyone on this plantation. That would make a little bit more sense. But then, again, it would be, I think, would have been, I don't want to say smarter because it makes it sound like I know what I'm doing, but I'm not a writer, but maybe have, if it is something where anybody on the plantation can essentially get into danger and it draws her there, in this first episode, all three instances shouldn't have been the boy. Maybe one is the boy, one is the mom, one is the dad, or one is the boy, one is a slave. Like, mix it up as best you can, because then I'm really gonna be like, what the fuck is causing her? Like, at least right now, I've latched on to a clear connection to this boy, and maybe I didn't need that in episode 1. Maybe you have 3 different reasons that seem to draw her back there, and now I'm sitting here with no clue as to what draws her back to 1815. So, I mean, we'll see. If both her and her mom travel back and forth to plantations, is whatever it is about the ability to do this time travel, is it genetic? And they don't raise this question because it's not known, but like the aunt says something like, basically implies that the mother had mental issues and that she might have passed these mental issues on to Dana. And so it feels to me like this could be a genetic thing. And then also the mother says something like, how old are you now? She's like 26. She's like, I was 26 when I first started teleporting. So I'm like, it seems genetic. I mean, again, the show is called Kindred. So I don't know. Those are my questions. And now I'm going to close with a couple of quick thoughts, and we'll wrap this up. And then it is on you guys on whether or not we will see each other probably tomorrow to talk about episode 2. Dana and her aunt have the blackest argument. I mean, like, replete with like, don't come for me. This kind of like the blinking, like, oh really? That's what we doing? Like that kind of shit. This is a fully black argument, right? After the aunt leaves, she's already off screen. We hear her go, take a shower. at Dana, which was funny because when the aunt first arrived at her house, she's looking at how little stuff is around there. She's like, she did it like the gentle kind of way that I can only speak from the black perspective, but like I could see that in a black household walking in like, where's your towels? Where's your bath mat? You take a shower? like trying to like gently say you funky. And then, but because the argument got so hood, the take a shower when you, it's like, okay, I'm through beating around the bush. Get your stinking ass in the shower. I just thought that was a really funny line. I can't believe Dana bought an $8,000 mattress. Like, what the fuck? Is that like LA? And that's 2016 prices, not 2022 massive inflation price. She bought an $8,000 mattress. That mattress probably be $15,000 today. And now, serious question: is Dana a bum? like a bum, like not homeless, like but like a bum, like I don't know, someone like, yo, you a fucking bum, like that kind of person. She doesn't have a job. She refers to herself as a writer, but hasn't actually written anything that's done anything. She doesn't have a car. She doesn't have a license. She got in this ghetto ass argument with her aunt. She has a cracked phone screen and no internet. I mean, sounds like a bum to me. I'm just saying. And then lastly, fuck her hoe ass uncle. Like, this uncle shows up at 0 minutes and 1 second into the episode with a fucking attitude because she's 15 minutes late to meeting up with him at this restaurant. He's wild judgmental, even though she's a grown ass 26-year-old. Now, granted, she is showing a lot of signs of being a bum, but like, he's like wild judgmental of her. Like, she's not grown. She bought her house in LA because she sold a house that her deceased grandmother gifted to her, a fancy house in New York. She sold that, took that money, and bought the LA house. And like, that doesn't sound like a ridiculous thing to do, but the uncle acts like it was the stupidest fucking thing. He like walks off, he had rolling his eyes. I'm like, how you have an attitude the first moment we see you? So yeah, fuck the neighbors and fuck the uncle. That's all I got. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Please don't tell me how it compared to the book because I don't care. And maybe I'll see you guys for episode 2. That's on you. We'll see how this video performs. And until then, or not until then, peace.